Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic University podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Canton III, and we are continuing our Road to Doomsday miniseries with a unexpected episode because originally my plan was we were going to do who's leading the Avengers into Doomsday, but then all of a sudden Marvel Studios decided to have an announcement last week where they announced, I don't know, half of their cast, a fourth of their cast, a third of their cast. I have no idea exactly what the number is. But we got a lot of names for Avengers Doomsday. So with that being said, there are a lot of names who are a part of the MC University Patreon, patreon.com/MC University Pod. You can get our bonus content, such as the John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum episode that myself, Jake, and if you see on the screen right there, Rod was a part of. And we had a great time doing that. And I found out earlier today that Jake, I don't know if the word is unhappy about the announcement of John Wick 5.
Confused.
Confused. He's a little confused about John Wick 5 and its ever sprawling and expanding universe.
No, I'm not confused about the universe. I'm just specifically confused about how there can be another John Wick movie. I don't think I'm crazy for being confused about that.
Yeah, we gonna find out. We gonna find out what Keanu and Chad have cooked up in John Wick 5 coming at some point. We'll see what happens there. But again, like I said, patreon.com, support, $3, Discord, all the back log of episodes. We got John Wick Chapter 4 coming later this month. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All of those good things. And with that being said, even though I kind of semi-introduced them already, the super producer, Jake Christie. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be able to talk to you guys about this. It was a very odd day watching all these chairs, but it's worth it to talk about.
Yes, we will get to those goddamn chairs in a second. And we do have two guests, two friends of the show. First, we always leave the key under the mat for him, and he always comes back. Our pal, Rod, a.k.a. the black guy who tips. Rod, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm just like Keanu Reeves seeing that check. I'm thinking I'm back.
he's always back. He's always back. And also, our pal Anthony Bays, aka the producer of Cinephobe, and basically he produces a lot of things, Basketball Illuminati, a lot of the Count the Ding stuff. He's all over the place producing things. And the labor of love that is Cinephobe, I thoroughly enjoyed last week's Angels in the Outfield episode. Just great stuff, Mays. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, that was a weird trip back into my childhood of watching that movie a lot growing up and then looking at it again after about 20 plus years and realizing that it doesn't make a whole lot of goddamn sense. But Rod, I gotta ask you, Gerard Butler in the Has Fallen franchise, could he take down John Wick?
No, not yet. He's not there yet, but give him like 2 more international emergencies. He might get there.
All right.
Great times. And with that being said, yes, Avengers Doomsday. So this cast, whatever portion of it gets announced last week. And I think the first thing I want to ask you guys is the approach that Marvel Studios took to this, because you could have easily just gone into production without saying anything, or you could have just sent a tweet out saying like, "Hey, we're in production." Instead, we get a chair. I believe it's around 11 a.m. Eastern time, and we see Chris Hemsworth, and then time passes, and just a lot of people were just confused. And I know myself personally, I just said this seems really tedious. Like, well, I realize it's the cast, but like, goodness gracious, like 15 minutes is a long time to be just spanning to a fucking chair for a name.
AC, can you explain to me how it happened? Because I was trying to piece this all together after the fact. Which came first? Was it like the YouTube video started and then they started rolling out the tweets and the IG posts and stuff?
So they started streaming 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific time. So like then you just kind of get this pan, and I first saw it on Twitter, and then I think anybody else who had gone to whether it was Instagram or YouTube or whatever had seen it as it was. And it was kind of weird because of the way that Marvel Studios would do a Twitter post of said name, the first one, but then the live stream would still be going at the same time. So you were kind of like there was like a million notifications
Okay.
and things along those lines. Like I said, tedious, inefficient. It's a kind of the way I would describe it. And I think a lot of people felt that way. But I do think the one thing I will say that they accomplished is they got people talking. They got people interested in a way that I don't think they would have normally been able to do. And I also think this was a two-pronged thing. This was one, trying to see if we still got it. And number two, I do think there is a heavy spoiler culture trying to fight it back by just saying, all right, we're gonna give you a bunch of names. So therefore, Scooper X, Scooper Y, and Scooper Z can't just say that Alan Cummings is coming back for Avengers Doomsday. No, we say it right here. So that part.
Speaking of
I'll
saying
leave.
it right, did you just say Alan Cummings is coming back?
He did say that, yeah.
You need to be
That's-
fired into the sun. It's Alan Cumming.
Oh no. Oh no. I don't even want to go further with what I was gonna say next. But with that being said, my bad, Mr. Cumming.
That's Mr. Coming to you.
Oh no. Oh no. But with that being said, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So Maze, I'll start with you because you texted me like after the fact of this and you were like, what the fuck is going on? So when you're watching this and you're seeing this go on, what were your initial thoughts of the general approach of this?
Well, I feel like I come on this show every time and I say that Marvel's behavior reeks of desperation. And I think this is no different. I'm trying to figure out how many people watched it on YouTube, which is literally a 5.5 hour video of chairs slowly panning from chair to chair to chair to chair to chair. And I think it's got to be something disgusting. It's got to be like millions of views on that, which is horrifying. The only thing I'm interested in with this list of names is a death pool. That's all I want to do is like take odds on who's gonna die when.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, I have that on the.
That's interesting to me. I'm interested in that because I would say probably at least 10, 5 of these people have to die. Closer to 10, somewhere between 5 and 10. And so it's just a matter of when they're gonna die. That's kind of cool. Other than that, okay, great. Who cares?
And with that being said, Rod, what did you think of this approach?
As the self-professed Marvel slut on this show, I saw the announcement with the first chair, and I saw it was live on Twitter, and so I watched the video for like maybe 2 minutes, and then I realized it wasn't moving to the next chair. Like I was like, I'm going to the gym. And so then I just went and lived my life, and I came back, a few hours later, and a few names had been announced, and then, I realized what the gimmick was, and I was like, I'll tap back in when it's done. And I think I watched the like final reveal of RDJ on like in some clip that they put out at the very end that's just like him being like, hey, we filming or whatever the fuck, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it at this point, man, it's such a known quantity, and these Avenger movies are so fucking big that it's like, yeah, of course they're all coming back. Why? That's literally what Avengers is at this point. And if there's anything interesting, it's like one or two names here. Spoiler alert, Fantastic Four is going to survive their movie. Like it's it's nothing. It's nothing crazy about it. It's just, I really felt like it was Marvel just reaching in their bag to be like, yeah, we still got the biggest dick in town. Like, you guys are going to watch 5.5 hours because you're all like addicted to it. And you're going to talk about it and you're going to speculate about it. And I mean, we're doing it here. So clearly, like, it was just a reminder that they're the biggest game in town, and I think that's all it really served. As far everything else is just us taking a little bit of information and going ham.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And Jake?
So I originally thought when they were doing the gimmick, I was like, "This is way too slow." I didn't have a problem with them. Like, I think actually announcing the cast ahead of time is not a bad idea because I think that like undercutting the scooper type thing, like I think that too often these movies like front load, like not front load, but make their entire thing about who's going to be in, who's not going to be in it. Just like I think announcing the cast ahead of time makes it that like that's not what the movie's about, and I actually don't mind that at all. But I'm like, this should be much faster. Like, why is it 5 minutes per chair? And so as a viewer, I really hated how slow it was. But I will say, from a strategic point of view, Marvel owned the day in a way that they haven't in a very long time. Like in terms of like people were talking about Marvel, not everyone obviously, but it was in the conversation from 11 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And I think in that way it worked. I think a lot of people were making fun of it. A lot of people were joking about it. A lot of people were like, this is a horrible way to announce a cast. But people were still tweeting about Avengers Doomsday at 4 o'clock, you know, even though the announcement started at 11. So like, I can't ding them too much for it. I do wish that I still do wish it was a little faster. I think that there's a sweet spot between like a 5-minute announcement and a 5-hour announcement.
Yeah.
And what is that, Jake?
Honestly, probably like a half hour.
Okay.
It couldn't have been. It didn't
Just
have
watch
to be
watch
that
the video on 4 times speed, 6 times speed. Done.
No, because like they put the video out at the end. It was like a minute and a half, and it's like, yo, come on,
that's
man.
the one I saw. Was like,
You
and
know,
I didn't
like-
even watch the whole minute and a half. I just got to the very end. I was like, oh shit, Robert Downey Jr. Like that was it. Like it, honestly, that was RDJ just looking in the camera like, you know what we do, and that was it. Like that's all he had to do. They might as well have had the Stephen A. Smith first take. You know that intro he does every day where it's all. They might as well have had him do that for a minute. It would have been the same effect to me, which is, you know, Marvel they're back. They're gonna start making movies again. That we'll see you in the theater. That's all we needed to see.
This gives me a future idea for a cold open on this show of Roderick A. Smith and giving us the intro.
I need some hip hop music. I need a camera directly in my face, and I need to just continuously talk about the clothes you guys wear. I think we could make that happen.
yes. Jake, I think I stumbled onto an idea here.
I mean, Rod doing a bit, I'm sold.
yes, 100%. But so I was thinking about this in terms of the cast because the first thing once all of the names came out was, okay, let me start to kind of map out what the story is, because it seems like, at least to me, based off of the stuff that the Russos have kind of trying to slowly like not leak out per se, but just say like little details here and there, is that they at first didn't want to come back and do these movies because they didn't have a story. They didn't feel like they had an idea, and it felt like RDJ was kind of trying to sell them on it for the past year or so. And they finally found a way in. And what it looks like based off of the cast, we got a lot of Fox's X-Men, we got the Fantastic Four, we got a bunch of our OGs and some of the newbies.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like at the minimum they're going to do the Incursion Secret War thing in this Doomsday movie with Loki as the MacGuffin, because he's the dude that controls all the time and everything like that. And you got these Fox X-Men in another world who, if we remember at the end of the Marvels, Monica Rambeau is trapped over there, and we have our Avengers, aka Captain Marvel, who was not announced yet for this, who is looking for Monica in said universe. So it feels like a lot of this is a Avengers versus X-Men type deal, and also at the same time maybe giving these Fox folks their send-off before they introduce the new X-Men, whoever they are. I'm intrigued. Mace, what part of does an Avengers versus X-Men with Doctor Doom pulling the strings story interest you in any type of way?
I'll answer your question in a second. 2 things.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did Rebecca Romijn need a send-off?
This is true.
What?
Maybe her career generally needed a send-off.
We need to give Rebecca Romijn and Mr. Cummings a send-off so that we
Okay,
can bring
those
in
are
the
two separate
new
categories. Alan Cummings, a Broadway legend. Let's not group him in with Rebecca Romaine.
I don't know. I think
Alan
Rebecca
Cummings is a
Romaine-
Broadway legend. Mr. Cummings
That's true, Mr. Cummings.
deserves
I think-
his flowers.
I think Rebecca Romaine and Cumming have been in the same sentence after that Mystique costume thing for a long time.
And they will be again.
Rebecca Romaine coming, but enough about Jerry O'Connell. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Number 2, AC, I don't see Brie Larson's name on this gigantic list that I have. Are you telling me that there's going to be people in this Doomsday movie that are not in this 7.5 hour reveal? How dare they? Why couldn't they make it longer if there's gonna be people showing up?
Too.
This is
That's what I
bullshit.
thought too.
Like if you're not already in the MCU and you're not on this list and you show up, what are they doing?
Well, unless allegedly that this was just the first part of announcements of casts.
Jesus fucking.
I mean, I have a
I
theory.
think that's a mistake. I think that's a mistake. I think there's no reason to do that.
100%. They
I
should have
think
just done it right there.
I think there is a reason to do it, and I think
Okay.
like it could be really smart, and we can all be looking back thinking this was genius. If the cast members they're not listing are Jonathan Majors and Terrence Howard, I think this is one of the most ingenious ways to slide them.
Yeah, they're gonna
into
do
the door.
another Jonathan Majors rehabilitation cycle.
Yeah.
They're gonna try it all again. I will say a problem that I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be the friend that's too woke. But I did see a lot of people point out that like if Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Tiana Paris are going to be in the movie, you should announce them now because I think that the gender balance was like 80-20 for this, and it's like come on, what are you doing?
It's like
Avengers Sausage Fest coming.
Yeah,
2026.
Who cares about the MCU? Get rid of the MCU.
Look at Fraser's giant blue hog.
Oh god.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need a fucking story. Like, who cares? They're bringing out every person they can get.
Everyone.
Bring out Doctor Doom. Let him tap dance around. Like, cause chaos. I don't need. It doesn't matter what the setup is. Every time they've done a multiverse story, it's always ended up smaller than I thought it was going to be going in.
yeah.
Starting with Multiverse of Madness. I'm like, ooh, he can go with America Chavez to any world and do any sort of things. And he goes to one place and he has a pizza ball and he sees Professor X. And that was fine. But when I came out of it, I was like, oh, well, I guess there are limits to this limitless multiverse that we've created. So maybe there will be slightly less limits with this many people in it, but it's still going to be like 1 or 2 worlds at most.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. I don't see them deviating to that degree. Even though the way that the comic went, they went like from world to world to world, and it was just a whole big thing. I think there's a YouTube explainer online of that comic book for any fan who's watching who really kind of wants to know, any casual who wants to know like how Secret Wars, that version, the 2015 version went, which is way different than the one that was in the 80s. So yeah, that's
it's a great comic run, but immediately I'm like, this shit is so ahead of where like I think a movie needs to be, just because you're asking fans to just you're asking a lot of just your casual fans, especially those who have kind of dropped off. They're not watching every TV show, X-Men, cartoon, all this shit. Those people that just go to the tentpole films to come back and it be like incursions in the Illuminati and characters from Fox who are fighting characters from the MCU, like it is asking a lot of people.
Well, also hashtag everything is wrestling. I'm always about the build. It's always about the build. If you build a story, bring me to a place where at some point we get a grand blow off because of everything that came before it. In terms of this was something that, if we go back to part one of this miniseries, we discussed in great detail on how there has been basically no build up to this. This is kind of just, we're just dropping in. Now, maybe the Thunderbolts movie, it seems like to me, like what I took out of the some of the stuff with the cast and kind of the way that they've been marketing Thunderbolts and some of the stuff that they've been letting out about that movie would lead me to believe that that's a bigger movie hiding in plain sight as this kind of small indie movie, as they keep touting A24 and everything that they're going along about. But it seems like all of these characters who were in this initial cast announcement are going to be in this Doomsday movie as something significant, as they're quote unquote the acting Avengers, as is said in the trailer of Thunderbolt. So I don't know how exactly that plays out, but I think that has been the biggest problem to me of this entire thing, this entire time, has just been the lack of a overall build, where there's so much meandering in a lot of these projects. And nobody has been given, especially when we talk about the new people, they have not been given enough weight to come into this story against somebody who we're just gonna probably see for the very first time in any type of way in this version of Doctor Doom. Now, I don't listen, maybe the casuals are cool with it. Maybe it works. Maybe it's something that pops with people. I've said this before. I
How
say
many
it again.
movies do they have until this? It's Fantastic Four.
It's Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, and then Doomsday.
They're probably setting something up with Fantastic Four, and it seemed like from the ideas in that trailer and some of the talk around the movie, they take place in a universe that doesn't have Avengers whatever. So that could already be a incursion world of some type, some introduction to the idea of these incursions, Illuminati, or worlds with different heroes and different realities. So I don't think it's necessarily like they haven't set that they won't set up a build and we'll just jump into Doomsday.
Right.
My guess is that movie's going to carry a lot of weight with the Doomsday situation, especially with one of the main bad guys being Galactus. That just feels like a huge, like, cosmic, planet destroying ass villain that leads the audience to like bigger and better things. So I don't know. I hope it's like Maze says, we finally get a multiverse movie that feels huge, as opposed to these insular, like Fantastic Four will not feel huge. It'll probably feel like a family movie, which is fine. But I think when you say Doomsday, it need to feel like huge, and Doom is a huge threat because the stakes of everything is so big and desperate and disconnected.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think the interesting thing is kind of thinking about, okay, I'm saying there's lack of a build, but if I go back to Loki, and if Loki's in Doomsday, so a lot of the bones of that whole multiverse nexus being thing that they talked about in WandaVision, Wanda was not one of the names, that Elizabeth Olsen was not one of the names in the announcement. I would have to think that somebody who we saw in Multiverse of Madness could be one of those people who can travel between worlds. That feels like somebody important that you would use in a movie like that.
And the thing is, I keep coming back to it. The reason I think she's in it is because her answer to the question of if she's in it is that her character died. And if that's your answer, you're in it.
Which is the same exact answer that Scarlett Johansson gave.
Exactly. It's not a no. It's not a no.
It's not, right.
It would also make sense of why you don't want to say, like, where you're looking short on a couple of women names there.
Yeah, that's true.
We killed them all. Damn.
Yeah. We'll say, I think the big sin that I would call out is just that none of the Marvels are in it. Just because that seems cowardly, especially given that like the movie was thrown to the wolves. And it's like, the thing about the MCU is the MCU used to be confident with that shit, where like it was like, no, these are the characters that are in it. And it's just like, well, you're not gonna put any of them in there, but you're gonna put fucking, no offense to him, but Joaquin Torres, he's more important than.
Are any of the Eternals in it?
No,
No.
the Eternals are not coming back.
No, that was a common that
Damn.
was a common joke online over the weekend.
They got
no-
that
no Kingo.
adamantium out of the ocean, and they was like, "We good."
Yeah, we don't need nobody else. God bless Richard Madden, who flew into the sun that one time, and that was that for them folks. Goodness gracious, that cast! Imagine that cast, and then it's like you'll never see him again.
Kumail's still jacked, so
I
at
mean,
least
yeah,
we got
for
that
no
out of it.
reason.
The thing is, he got jacked before that though. I remember, because I remember during like the press for the movie Stuber, he was like, Dave Bautista taught me how to get jacked. I think he just likes being jacked, you know.
Well, clearly he must
Yeah.
at this
I
point.
mean, he
And
don't
I don't
got
like
to
that
no
for him
more.
because I don't like the way that his jaw looks when he's jacked. I'm just gonna say it.
Well,
Yeah.
you heard it here first. Get fat again, Kumail.
Yeah,
He was never fat. He was just
he
skinny.
just wasn't
Get
chiseled.
normal again, Kumail.
Hey, so I guess I should use some of the stuff that we heard yesterday. Though we finally got a Spider-Man title, Brand New Day, for the movie that comes out 2 months after Doomsday, which again Tom Holland was another person not announced for Avengers Doomsday, which makes me wonder what's happening there. That feels like, I just feel like the natural, if you're gonna have Downey as Doom, you put somebody who had the biggest emotional connection with in the damn MCU and put them two face to face immediately, like as soon as you can, in a situation like that, especially with a Spider-Man who nobody remembers Peter Parker, all that stuff. He's going through his own shit. So it's a very curious move if there are no more announcements of cast.
I would be so shocked. That would be crazy if they didn't have that moment. I can't even comprehend it. Like, why would you have Robert Downey Jr. in the movie?
It would be a very odd decision, I would say.
Are they saving it? Is that the only? If he's really
I
not
think
in the
so.
cast, is that the only reason? Is that?
I mean, are
it's
they
for-
gonna do the same thing that they did when Cap and Iron Man didn't want to talk to each other and save that for Endgame instead of Infinity War? I mean,
can see
maybe,
same thing.
maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they.
I
decide
think
to do the same
you could have Tom Hardy come and be in it. He said they almost made that happen, so maybe he could show up first.
I said this yesterday. Thank God somebody had some sense over there to stop that shit.
Mhm.
Thank God.
Probably Tom Holland.
No, he said it. Like,
Yeah.
he said it without saying. He was like, hey, man, creatively, there was just some stuff that I could not. He didn't say that, but I know that's what he was meaning. It was like, we could not let this happen. Not at any
He
type
would have
of
been
way.
walking around those. He would have been walking around that Sony set, like in Real Housewives of Atlanta, when Nene's like, "Ooh, child, the ghetto."
Nah, man. Sony, I could imagine he looking at them Sony executives like they so dumb. Like, they really probably came in there and probably told him like, yo, look, Spider-Man Venom action figures.
Yeah, you
Look
know
at how
what he
much
did?
is this
You know what
gonna
he did?
sell?
He took whatever, like, he took their their Yeti or their Stanley cup or whatever, poured it out, handed them a Bureau. Say, you gotta get off the sauce. Gotta get off the sauce. You are drunk. It's the thing is,
Absolutely not.
the thing
Yes.
about Tom, the reason also why I think Tom Holland has to be in it, and they need to have that moment, is
Yeah.
as we're alluding to, Tom Holland, people have criticized his career outside of Spider-Man, yada yada yada, despite the fact he's my age, so like he's got plenty of time ahead of him. I think, that he clearly has a really good handle on his character, like in a way that's like not to be expected with someone in their 20s, right? Like he gets the Spider-Man character really well, and he's not gonna do dumb gimmick shit. And I think, and given the fact that I think I mentioned this on a previous pod, that him and Robert Downey Jr. came up with the Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good, I don't want to go moment. That was improvised between them. So he clearly knows that is the most important relationship. Like, I would say that is, at the very least, the third most important relationship in the MCU, even though it doesn't have the most screen time. Like, in terms of emotional impact, it has some of the most emotional scenes in the whole MCU. So
100%.
I know that they've made some decisions that make me doubt some of their judgment, but like there are too many people involved, and I'm like, I just don't believe that they don't know how big of a moment that is. So maybe it happens in Secret Wars, but like that moment has to happen because it's everyone's first thought when they hear that Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Doctor Doom.
It literally is.
Is
It's one of
Gwyneth
those
Paltrow
things
on the cast list?
No,
no,
Mm.
she's not on the list.
no
So we won't get a
chicks.
Pepper Potts reunion either.
Yeah, Pepper Potts is in that mansion, not answering the door, not
Chilling.
answering the phone. Just like, yo, I got my money, I'm good.
The reason why she didn't want to come on is because she heard that they're going to be intimacy coordinators, and she's not about that. She grabs her lunch pail, goes in the paint, says, "Timmy, get in here."
That's a great.
She's back in my day.
Back in my day, what?
I respect her so much because think about her. She's someone who's like, obviously she's a con
was so
artist
insane.
and like
Yeah.
actually is like bad for the wellness community and bad for people's health. But she's one of those people who's so out of touch, it's comical. Like you know what I mean? Like she says stuff
Yeah.
that no other person would think to say because she's not even like, she doesn't even, everyone she talks to doesn't talk to normal people. So she's like 3 degrees away from normal people. So she's just coming out here being like, yeah, back in my day, we just got in the bed and had, pretended to have sex.
Hey, man. Yo, shout out to hashtag Wash the Agenda. We out here. We still out here. Even if it's intimacy coordinators.
You're trying to claim Gwyneth Paltrow for your little hashtag.
I mean, that's pretty. Maze, her saying back in my day we didn't have these people on set. That's pretty washed. I gotta say, it is.
Okay.
All right. So I think Maze brought up a fair point with the death pool. The death pool is actually a very interesting thing, and I will say, like, I easily nominate first. If I had to nominate anybody immediately to go, I believe that Ant-Man will get offed.
Ooh,
Ant-Man.
spicy.
You going off the rack. I'm going with all them old ass X-Men. That's easy work. Light work.
Yes.
They want to be put out their misery.
I will say
Yeah.
I didn't get to say it because we got and we includes me distracted by the Mr. Cummings bit. But the thing I'm actually very excited about with him being back is I think that I don't think there's any argument here that the opening of X2 is a top 10 superhero movie sequence ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and they
White
really
House.
didn't use his power at all. Like other than X2, like so I'm excited just to see that again as a power because they give it to fucking Cody Smith, the creepy kid in the new X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see the Bam thing again because that scene I rewatched that when it was announced and I'm like, holy shit! Imagine if this was 1, the entire movie, and 2, not directed by a sex criminal. I'd watch all the time. Sorry, the returns from Wisconsin are coming in good, so I'm in a good mood. I'm watching election returns.
I hope Charles Xavier is the one we watched die in Logan. I hope when he shows up, he's like, "Put me out of my misery, Galactus." Logan. See now, Charles Xavier was amazing.
So I almost wonder. So you mentioned Charles Xavier. We got Magneto back. We got Washed Ian McKellen. Hashtag Wash Agenda. He's in the house too. So what's that gonna be like? That bringing back all these folks, and this is without we don't no official word on allegedly the streets are saying that Halle Berry might be back for this one too.
Halle Berry?
Yeah.
No chicks.
Let's go.
They're trying to get.
And they're gonna bring her back and the book that she uses in Swordfish. That's a cinephobe joke for Maze, and he was the one who didn't laugh.
Oh, I gave you a nice smile and nod. Yeah.
No, this is for the audio audience though.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to see. So I'm very curious to see. Like I know Rod, you an old school fan. Like seeing these characters again, coming back like one more time. Hashtag one last ride.
Yeah.
What you thinking, man?
Oh no, y'all don't even want it. My idea is you kill these motherfuckers in the opening credits. That's like I will immediately have Doom erase the shit out of these motherfuckers. Like right as the audience is like we get the X-Men theme, the music is crescendoing, like Magneto's putting on a helmet, Charles and like I want people to feel hopeful, and then it's just like, bitch, I'm Doom. These motherfuckers are so toast, and I cannot wait to kill the people you love. And I'm like, that's an opening. There we go. So I think when you list this many people, you can't give everybody 20, 30 minutes of screen time. So I think it would be cool to just off some people. And it hits the nostalgia bug, but it also like sets stakes real fast.
Yeah. I don't hate that. I think the thing is, I don't think you can off too many of them, though, just because that move was already pulled in Multiverse of Madness to demonstrate someone's strength, have them kill a bunch of legacy characters. And so I think that you need to, like, be judicious with it, or at least have it, like, be less of a route, maybe.
Also, it'll be a situation where their world dies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
that's-
die in it as opposed to
that's
like,
what,
actually
like,
folks getting killed.
That sort of thing. Like Doom is leading an incursion that just destroys their fucking planet, and it's this planet we were familiar with from the Fox universe, and it's like, oh shit, them people ain't really in here that long. Damn, well, there goes 20% of the cast list. Let's see what's next, you know?
I mean, 20%. I mean, we don't even. Yeah, I feel like this shit about to be like 60, 70 names the way they're going. God
Yeah,
damn.
And don't we
I-
assume there? I think you said earlier, AC. We assume there's other younger X-Men somewhere in some other multiverse that are gonna be the actual X-Men that we
Right.
follow into this
Yeah.
universe. So I'm like, kill them old motherfuckers, dude. That's why they there. That's my favorite part of Multiverse of Madness is when they kill them motherfuckers. I'm like, yes, this feels right. I'm scared of Wanda in a way I wasn't 5 minutes ago. She's crashing out, and so yeah, I think Doom should kill them motherfuckers.
I mean, I think that's part of the. I think that's really part of the point of them doing this movie, so they can reconstitute and reset, like a soft reset of everything, and therefore you can bring Fantastic Four into the universe and bring X-Men into the universe, and then whichever old heroes you want to keep, you keep, and then have the new ones continue on and do the Young Avengers, aka Champions thing that they're planning to do, and just move forward with that if this works. Which, like I said, it's to me it's a if. It's a if, because if this movie fails, then Rod, what I said on the Hot Takes pod, I think may come to pass.
Yeah,
And,
if
I'm not
this
saying
movie
I'm
fails, AC, you and I will have to come up with another reason to speak every week.
wrong. Yeah. Listen, James Gunn's Superman is coming out in July. And,
Wow.
I have
You can always depend on DCEU to get it right. Those guys never let me down.
By the way, I checked. So I bring this up on main feed rarely because it is one of the most shameful things I do. But I keep very intricate spreadsheets of every movie I see, and one of the things I do is I keep track of how many actors I recognize in a movie. And the current record is Endgame with 59, and so that's the number that Doomsday has to beat. I think it can. Secret Wars probably will. And keep in mind, I am better at. I am the Usain Bolt of recognizing actors. Like we're talking about Terry Notary, who does the motion capture of Cole Obsidian, is someone I recognize. So like. This might get to 100, honestly. If they throw in some cameos, we might be in some pretty big numbers.
Yeah, I mean, just think about who wasn't mentioned. That's kind of the thing that I was looking at. So we ain't mentioned Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman. We ain't mentioned Tom Holland, no Elizabeth Olsen, no Brie Larson, no Iman Vellani, no Tiana Paris.
No Guardians.
No Guardians of the Galaxy at all.
No Tom Hardy.
No Eternals.
No Terrence Howard. No Jonathan Majors. Like there's so many people that weren't mentioned. Crazy. Think about it.
Tim Blake Nelson's not in this piece.
The actress who played the older version of Cassie Lang for the one scene in Endgame, not in it.
Not in it either.
I mean, all the Young Avengers, right?
Catherine Langford in the cut scene of older Morgan Stark in Endgame, not in it.
Yeah, no Clark Gregg.
No Clark Gregg. No
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. When is Chloe Bennett going to be in this?
Come on. She's not doing Powerpuff Girls. She got time.
That's terrible ass trailer.
That trailer was trash.
Other X-Men that didn't get in also.
Yeah.
Their choices were weird.
The one who played.
I mean, I think it's partially who will do it though.
That's still weird.
They'll all do it.
That's true. Yeah. I'll say this. Maybe not some of the younger generation ones, like the reboot ones. I don't think Michael Fassbender's probably going to do it. I don't think Jennifer
Jansen's not available.
Who?
Famke Janssen.
Do you want the stink on that though? Do you want the Famke? I mean, come on, because she's doing some like director Redbox stuff right now. I don't want that stink.
I'm just saying, it's weird. It's like their decisions is weird on who makes it and who doesn't.
It is weird.
It's definitely not like well, we need all the blue X-Men. Like that wasn't what
Right.
they thought in advance. It might be some combination of like who said yes and who was available and who's not box office poison like Famke Janssen, but
yeah, no Jennifer
odd to me.
Lawrence.
I would have
don't.
gone Jennifer Lawrence over Rebecca Romaine. 100%.
If Jennifer Lawrence, if her agent answers that call, I think that she's doing malpractice. I'm sorry. Jennifer Lawrence should not be in this movie.
You don't want
Jennifer Lawrence
anybody
should not have
reminded.
been in the other most of the actual X-Men movies.
Yeah, you don't want anybody reminded she was in them.
I mean, because like it's so funny how
Ooh,
like
that Dark Phoenix
so
Ooh,
clearly
God. Ooh,
it's so
boy.
funny that you can tell that her contractual demand was I'm going to be blue in as little of this as possible. In the later movie, she's like, I don't care that my character's breakthrough is being okay with her mutation. I'm going to be Jennifer fucking Lawrence in this movie.
Yep, that's a lot of makeup in that chair, dog.
I got an Oscar between the last two movies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm also the star. You guys didn't know this, but Mystique is actually the most popular X-Men and the one the story has always been centered around now.
It's so funny. That's such an example of like Hollywood having a good problem and not knowing what to do. Like, oh my God, one of your characters is now one of the most famous actresses in the world. What do we do? And they just blew it.
Mystique leads the X-Men. That was just so weird
crazy
to watch. It was just what was going on with that. And no Chris Evans,
no Hulk, no She-Hulk.
No,
She-Hulk's gonna be in it though. I think we've heard that, right?
That's been something that's been heavily implied in a lot of different circles. So,
maybe
like,
they're hiding all the women in the announcement to get away from the toxic fanboys. And then when they show up to the movie, they're going to be outraged that there's, vaginas.
When you say hiding the women, where are they hiding the women? Are they keeping them in cages, offset? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they're just not announcing that they're gonna be around. They're just like,
no, it's movie magic. They were wearing green suits. It was on a green screen. You can't see them.
Can we play a little game of when did we last see this person and what are they doing?
Oh, okay. This is perfect. Yes. Yeah, bro, give me a name.
So Thor, the last time we saw him, he has an adopted son.
Adopted daughter. Don't be ridiculous.
Adopted daughter.
Yeah.
Played by Chris Hemsworth's actual daughter.
Played by his actual daughter. Yeah.
Freeze frame jumping into the air.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the last time we saw Thor.
Yep.
It turned out to be a very divisive movie. Yeah. Yes.
Got beat by Shuri.
Yeah, and
I actually think
still planning his turnabout on Wakanda
I think
at some point.
Sneakily, the Doom War, Wakandan Atlantean connection could play a part in this if they really want to get into some fun, like because I know they announced Black Panther 3.
Yeah.
So and then you got Letitia Wright still. You got Tanique Huerta or whatever his name is, and
Tanique Huerta. Sorry,
okay.
Tanaque Huerta. So now I repeated exactly what you said.
I was like, okay.
Well, actually,
it's exactly the mispronunciation you did.
No, it's Tanaque Huerta.
Tanaque Huerta. Yeah, so they could sneakily do something cool with that if they want to show like Doom's master manipulating hand of like, yo, he was low key responsible for that conflict, because that's what happened in the comic. Is Doom was ultimately responsible for that fight between Wakanda and Atlantis.
Couldn't you bring him into a conflict? This is just the little I know about the comics. Couldn't you bring him into a conflict? Just Doom being like, "Hey, Namor, you see that like big tower in New York? There's a beautiful white woman that's just waiting for you."
Yeah. Hey, low key though. Hey, that part of the comic book is actually low key fire. How he be showing up, cucking Reed Richards.
That's how I know, because everyone talks about how good it is.
Yeah, that man be punking Reed. Reed Richards is a secure motherfucker, bro. To have that smoke hot dude with no shirt on hanging around his invisible wife.
Now Reed Richards is also Latinx, so
yeah, it's true.
For him.
They should have a part where they both speak Spanish to each other in front of Sue. So you can't understand.
Where's Shang-Chi?
Coming
he took a portal to Wong and
Wong not in the movie.
Another one.
No, he took a portal with Wong. He
Captain
was at
Marvel,
him and
Bruce
Katie
Banner.
were at dinner with Academy Award nominee Stephanie Hsu and some other guy, and they got into a portal and they met with Wong, the Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Rhodey via hologram to talk about the 10 rings.
4 motherfuckers who are not in this movie.
Yeah.
No, Mark Ruffalo. Did they announce Mark Ruffalo or no?
No, they
No,
didn't.
they didn't.
They didn't.
Right.
That's nuts.
Mark
He
Ruffalo.
gets into a portal with 4 people on the Avengers.
Oh,
Fast forward to the next Avengers movie. None of them have been announced.
And
will
Mark
say-
Ruffalo.
Shang-Chi.
I think we
Mark
have to say,
Ruffalo's Hulk has a son now.
yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
I'll say this. I think it's safe to say that there's no way that this is the full cast. Just because, as we're talking about, like, there's just no way that they're going to leave all these characters.
This is going to be a monstrosity.
How do you pay for this?
Which makes the fucking chair video even dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all coming back.
No, like you know what they actually should have done? Honestly, what they should have done is, if they're going to split it in half, what they should have done is they should have panned the other way, and there was chairs facing the camera, a bunch more, and then cut away. That they should have teased it.
Yeah. I just want to know what the budget is, because this feels like we're getting to Cowboys. Jerry
It's going to be, I
Jones
think,
stuff.
$350 million at least, probably.
Okay.
So half
basically
of
what the electric.
State.
Yeah.
Got you, Rod.
Hey,
Well, no.
How you, my brother?
my
Do you
man.
want me to give a serious answer, or do you want to keep doing bits? Because I can give a serious answer as to why this would be worse. Because the thing about the Electric State is, because it went directly to Netflix, no one has points on it. The directors don't have points. The actors don't have points. So they have to pay them out. So a movie that costs $350 million that's going into theaters is like 50 times more expensive, if not more, than one straight to streaming. Like, it's way worse.
But how many? Like, they're not giving everybody here points.
No, but I would say that probably Kevin Feige, Robert Downey Jr., and the Russos, at the very least, are all getting points. Probably Hemsworth is getting points.
Well, we know Downey's getting points.
Well, yeah,
Jesus
Downey's
Christ.
getting, I mean...
Downey's getting all the points.
Downey's getting it all.
Yeah. Yes, it's his world.
Yeah. I imagine that if they get ScarJo back, I imagine they'll probably get her points just because of the whole thing about Black Widow. I think there are people who get like a little bit of points. But yeah, most people obviously won't. But I think the Russos particularly too are probably getting a shit ton of points.
Even though apparently Kevin Feige will be watching the Russos very closely after the events of Electric State.
What he didn't think that a movie where like the fourth lead character was an animatronic Mr. Peanut was a good stepping stone. I watched that movie.
I watched it too.
you.
That cast is crazy.
It's that's how you know that that's how you know that the Russos are great to work with, because people just said yes to them. I mean, they must be the nicest guys on set.
There's like people in there. It's like Oscar winners playing like garbage men and shit. like what?
No,
why,
Coleman Domingo's
why did you
in it
do
for one
this?
scene. What Mr. Peanut is played by Woody Harrelson.
Why? Anyone could do that voice.
Holly Hunter is in it for 2 scenes. I think she's uncredited.
Crazy. Just crazy.
So,
what a fucking movie.
I'm really debating picking that for Cinephobe. I'm really thinking about it.
I would Maze, if I ever can put him. I know if I ever can push in my chip. You have my number. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's just like a giant $350 million debacle. Last one.
Yeah.
Where did we see them last? Loki. Isn't that motherfucker a tree right now?
Yeah,
no, but this
he's a
makes
tree.
sense. No, but this actually is like I think the easiest one to explain, because AC, you were explaining this to me at one point with his role in the universe, in the multiverse.
Right. So like basically he's the thing that ties everything together. If you look at kind of what He Who Remains was in the timeline, the branches, and all of those things. If you go all the way back to season 1, episode 1 of Loki, and they did that whole explainer of like timeline branches and kind of like what the multiverse does and pruning and all that other TVA shit.
Sure, but he's not going to get to do any actual acting. He's going to be standing there as a tree.
Until somebody comes after him and eventually takes him out of that existence, which messes everything up, causes even more incursions to the point that worlds die, and then we'll probably get to the point where Doom can create his battle world, which that will create the Secret Wars situation.
Owen Wilson and Tom McFadden, or Matthew McFadden, not in this movie.
I think Matt McFadden.
Umi Masaku.
Matt
in this movie.
McFadden bought him and Keely Hawes a beach house, and he is not going to be in an MCU movie again.
Good for him.
Yeah.
No, very good for him. But no, that's a very fair point. I mean, to this day, the Shang-Chi thing just bugs me to no end.
It's so nuts that they did that.
2021. Yeah.
And it's gonna be 2026 and gonna just drop him back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Well, no, he was a cowboy.
Oh, he was.
Horner. He should
That's
be
right,
a
he was a
cowboy.
with that dumbass accent.
Shit.
Oh my god. What if that show? That's just something, man.
Can't believe he did his own voice. That's crazy.
I just like, why did he do that?
That tells you how
did
thirsty
not-
he is to be back as Shang-Chi. He was like, what do you got? You want to be a Western cowboy in a cartoon that's a one-off? Fuck it. Yeah. They need to know I'm still here.
Which we will see. We'll actually see him later this year, animated version of Marvel Zombies towards the back half of this year. But
AC. Are they gonna kill Gambit?
They gotta kill Gambit. They better kill him. I can't have Gambit being a big part of this universe.
I don't know.
That would suck. That's the one I really. That's the only. Like, honestly, Sebastian Stan, like Pedro Pascal, Tom Hiddleston.
I mean, he gotta have at
Chris
least
Hemsworth.
one scene with RDJ, right?
Take them all before you take Gambit.
He's gotta have one scene with Dr. Doom, right? Just one.
He's too
What would
good.
be the funniest? What would be the funniest interaction?
Ooh.
Gambit and who?
Oh my god.
Gambit. Oh, that's a good question.
Honestly, man, I can think of so many, but for some reason, Gambit and Anthony Mackie is making me laugh so hard.
If Gambit starts talking shit on like the hashtag not my Captain America or something like that.
Because ain't Anthony Mackie character from like New Orleans or some shit?
No, you know what it is? You know what the thing is? Gambit claims some Creole. And it's like,
yeah.
No, my ass is on Creole.
Yeah.
My phone to buy you.
They start talking about that boat.
I'll be honest with you. I actually don't think that. I think that they'd actually get along really well because I think that they'd start like exchanging, Ryan Perlou, he can really throw the football.
Well, that's the thing, right? May said what would be the funniest, right?
That's true.
I think Anthony Mackie trying to be funny is one of the funniest things on the earth. And then Channing Tatum actually being funny is also one of the funniest things on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would die. I don't think I could make it through a movie if they did that.
Channing Tatum's Gambit needs to have important scenes. That's all I
The thing about it is, though, I'll say this. Can I stick up for something? Obviously, he's really silly in Deadpool and Wolverine. But the thing about Channing Tatum is actually a really good actor. And I'm not that upset about it. Like, I think
I'm not upset at all. I'm excited.
I think it's still going to be a mostly funny character. But Channing Tatum he's an actor who's good at acting, but he's afflicted with having a dumb guy face, so people don't realize it. But like, he's a good actor. Like,
I agree.
And so I'm not that worried about it.
I'm very worried about it.
I know that
he's too fucking good at being funny to me, and you can't put him around anything with stakes. It's just, I mean, he's gonna have to prove that it'll work because I'm going to be laughing the second this motherfucker show up, dog.
You can't put him around stakes, but you can in Dewey Sausage. Sorry, go.
No, it just came to me. Imagine all the Avengers get beat up, all the X-Men get beat up. Dr. Doom is like, running through everybody, and he's about to get to Loki, and the very last thing standing in his way is fucking Channing Tatum's Gambit. Let's go!
And he says, I'm about to make a name for myself. And just
yes!
Get the fuck out of here, dog. I'll walk out the theater. There's no way. There's no fucking way, bro. You asking too much, man. This movie already asking for a lot, man. A serious Channing Tatum scene is a lot.
Oh, man. I can't wait. That's going to be so fun. That's so exciting.
What do you say? He shot out his dad's dick or something?
Dick? Yes, he sure did.
Shout out Daddy's dick for this.
He sure damn did.
I cannot believe his name was on that fucking chair.
He was right there. No Ryan Reynolds, no Hugh Jackman, but goddamn Channing Tatum there. How about that? How do you like them apples, Ryan? Maze, I want to ask you: is there anybody in a potential death pool for you that you would like to put into the mix?
I mean, Paul Rudd is a good call. Do they have the balls to kill Thor? Like, probably not. Definitely not in this one.
In Secret Wars I could see it because I think that Chris Hemsworth is very not interested in doing this into his 50s. based on the stuff, like, not to be a downer, but the stuff with his Alzheimer's stuff with his family, like, I really get the vibe that he doesn't want to be doing this forever. I really get that vibe.
Oh yeah, he did that Disney show. I did see that.
Because he's like he talked about how he like is extremely high risk of getting Alzheimer's, or like he's really not. I think the fact that like he's done the previous 2 movies in Australia or New Zealand where his family can be with him, like I don't think he's gonna be like Mark Ruffalo doing this into his 60s. I really don't.
And I know with obviously Chris Hemsworth, that situation that Jake mentioned, I do kind of feel like, I think people don't realize this with Tom Holland too. I feel like this is going to be an instance where, just enjoy him, because I feel like this run here, this Avengers movies and this trilogy, maybe if him and Zendaya tie the knot or not, we'll see what happens with that. He's talked a lot about wanting to get out of this, and once he becomes a dad, he's done. Like, he's not going to be doing this anymore. So something to watch going forward for the next few years. That obviously plays such a big role. So like, I hope that maybe they use this opportunity over these, not only his movie, but these movies, to get him in the black suit and do MCU Venom proper, not the Tom Hardy thing, because God, no, just no with that. And then, of course, eventually bring in Miles, and we have a Miles Morales situation. So that would be nice too. But I think it's notable when you talk about all of these older folks coming in, and some of the old folks in the actual MCU who have been a part of this for so long. I mean, at some point, this shit got to end, and you got to pass it over to some new folks. And then on top of that, this shit probably got to end just generally anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No Doctor Strange either.
Yep.
Yeah.
No Clea. No Clea. No America Chavez.
It's a good time to kill off some people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think some folks definitely got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Doom going to be doing all this shit by himself?
I don't think so. I really do think that Chris Evans Hydra Cap thing, I think is a real possibility.
It's interesting because I think one of the things about Doom that is makes him such a great threat in the comics is how much he does do by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he manipulates people to do shit, but it's never like some straightforward, like, you're my henchman, go get him. It's like, oh, I pit these 2 people against each other and they didn't know it was me. So it's him as a villain is just such an interesting thing, because everybody else is like Thanos, and here comes the black the squad with him or whatever. Like, this guy's turned, even with Loki, he was like turning Clint against everybody else. Like, I could just see Doom kind of rolling for Dolo. I think it'd make him a dope threat too if he just fucking killed a bunch of these motherfuckers by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Doom manipulating somebody like Wanda to do his bidding, that by itself, just makes things like it puts him gives him an extreme advantage over everybody. Just somebody
and I
like
think,
that.
Because we already know it's Downey Jr., they have a really good reason to not necessarily hide the reveal, but to earn the reveal still. Like, you don't have to start off with like, I'm Doom, it's me, I look like Robert Downey Jr. But like, him being in that mask fucking people up, and then boom, third act or something, the mask comes off and people are like, what the fuck, bro?
Well, I wonder how much they'll lean into the wink wink, he looks exactly like Tony thing. I can't imagine that it won't be how a lot of the characters meet him.
Yeah.
It's actually supposed to be part of the story, because apparently Russo said that the Iron Man death in Endgame is connected to the Doom thing. So there's going to be something with that. So
it also might make that slogan make sense when he says "same new mask, same task" or whatever. And I know a lot of people just think that is like Robert Downey Jr. being like, same task to get a check. But I'm like, it could
mission accomplished.
Yeah, you did it. But it also could mean like Doom often sees himself as a protector of his realm. Like, Doom don't think he a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, he thinks he's Tony Stark. Like, nah, I'm saving you, stupid motherfuckers. Y'all just too dumb to know it. And there's a very similar vein of vanity, narcissism, and just achievement in Doom and Stark.
Yeah.
My
take was that task and mask rhyme. I think that's why he said it.
Oh, word.
Or
Okay.
okay. Same glove, new love.
Exactly.
Nah, he was just testing shit backstage.
Mr. Cummings.
And we're back, and that's how we'll close this out. This
Same
has been
shit,
fun.
new
Like,
fit.
oh shit, this is so much fun. Yeah, Avengers Doomsday will be fun. We'll see how if they continue to release any cast members, or how like that whole situation plays out. It feels like there's so much more to know. And then with Thunderbolts coming out, I'm curious to see like what that looks like and how they implement those folks, because it seems like those folks have a bigger role than what we would have initially thought. So that'll be fascinating to see as well.
Hope it doesn't flop.
Listen, yeah, that's not. Yeah, I'm the hot takes pod. Listen, man, I'm standing on business. I am concerned. I'm officially in the concern. I'm as optimistic on the MCU as anybody is, but even I can read the tea leaves. It's not looking too great. So but in the meantime, it'll be fun to chronicle it all, regardless of how it goes. So
well, the good news is
excited
that
to see that
the expectations are so low. I think they could.
Yeah, right now they're low.
Like everybody's just like, this is gonna be some bullshit. And that's typically how you fucking keep shit going. It's like, we thought it was gonna be a F and it turned out to be a C. You know what? That's not bad. That's how the DCU kept going for so long.
July's gonna be fun. That Fantastic Four Superman thing should be a very fun little competition over that month.
They should have put that dude that plays Superman in the cast list, even if he just plays like a regular ass dude. That would have fucked the world over. We be
put his chair up there and put bird shit all over it.
put that guy in put his name on the back of one of those chairs and just don't say what role he's playing. And everybody's like, "Oh, we finally getting the Superman, Batman, X-Men crossover." Like,
that's the problem, is no one knows his fucking name. So how are you gonna sell anybody on a chair with his name on it?
Oh, but that's
David Corn's wet.
That's the internet though, Maze. These motherfuckers don't know shit, but they love to act like they knew the shit.
Just put Superman then. That's how you get it done.
He better be good as Superman, because David Cornsweat is that's pushing into.
He's asking a lot.
You might need to change your name. You might need to change your name into.
He asking a lot of us. He asking a lot of us right there, dog.
Like honestly, I'm sure David Corrin is not taken in the Screen Actors Guild. You could have gotten rid of the Sweat.
Or just David Sweat, dude. That's a
that also works.
No,
or Cummings.
Yeah, that's
Keith's cousin.
Yeah, David Cummings.
David Cummings. It's not taken. It's right there.
Oh, man. It certainly isn't. Not at all.
But you know what? You say that about his last name, but they probably said that same shit to Jimmy Crack Corn.
and what did he say?
He didn't care. That motherfucker did not care, dog. And look at us now. We all know household name.
The thing is, because if he's successful, it's great. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was obviously told to change his name to Arnold Schwartz, or he also a couple other names, and he didn't, and it worked because he became successful. But if you're not successful, then
the more you know,
then you're just like, oh damn, you got a weird name. Anyway, AC, you can wrap it.
I would like to thank our wonderful guests and our pals for joining us, Anthony Mays and Rod. Rod, where can we find you, my friend? Where can we follow you, sir?
Podcast is The Black Guy Who Tips. And my Twitter is Rodimus Prime, and those are probably the two best places to find me.
Wonderful. And Anthony Mays, where can we find you, sir?
At Corn Puzzle on all this shit. At Corn's Wet on Blue Sky. Follow Cinephobe. Follow Basketball Illuminati. Playoffs coming up. Keep your third eye open.
There you go. And Jake, my friend.
You can follow me on Twitter at the J Christie, on Blue Sky at J Christie, and on TikTok at the J Christie. Still doing one tweet a day, presumably into 2027. So, gonna keep doing it whether people are watching or not. And thankfully, they're still watching, which is great.
2027, which we found out the date of the next Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, I think I gamed it out because I promised people I would do at least 1,000, and I think it's like April 17th, 2027 is when I have to stop.
No, okay.
Well, as long as Twitter's still here and TikTok is still.
I mean, yeah, I go no, because if Twitter goes away, as long as I can, it's a museum. You know what I mean? Like there are museums for Babylon, and Babylon doesn't exist anymore.
Facts.
Exactly. And of course, you can follow me at Anthony Canton _3 on Twitter and Anthony Canton 3 on Blue Sky. Follow the show on all platforms at MC University Pod, including the Discord and the Patreon, patreon.com, YouTube channel, all of those things. We have another episode coming up later this week because we got to do Daredevil episode 7. We're in the back third of the first season of Born Again. So looking forward to talking about episode 7 and what Daredevil, Kingpin, and our pal Muse, what are they all up to in that wonderful series as we close that out. And of course, for Anthony Mays and Rod and Jake, I'm Anthony Canton III. This has been Marvel Cinematic University, and we will talk to you next time on the road to Doomsday.